Hello everyone, welcome to Blooms and Bicycles. I'm Ashley and today I'll be talking you through how to assemble the Easter Teapot letterbox flowers in the shelter of our workshop, away from the April showers. In an initial delivery, you'll receive this dusky pink 900ml porcelain teapot, complete with its lid and its strainer. So if you do choose to change its use, you can. We'll be leaving that to one side for today though, whilst I talk to you about how to construct the letterbox flowers. So first of all, we'll fill the teapot and we'll add in the sachet of food that will come with the delivery. This is important because it stops bacteria growing in the water and helps with the longevity of your flowers. Just use one of your flowers to give it a stir, making sure the teapot is filled right to the top. Next is to create the grid using the strongest stems. With this collection, the strongest stems are the Magnolia and the Peach Blossom. With this display, you will receive 3 of the stems, and that's because 3 is a magic number. In floristry, it's one of them anyway. 3, 5 and 7. If you work with those numbers when you create your designs, you'll always have overall irregular balance. So with this teapot, the vessel itself is smaller than a usual vase, so we'll be trimming down the length of the stems a lot more than we would in one of the glass vases. You may want to do this with a pair of very strong and sharp secateurs or a pair of carbon floral scissors, because those stems are rather thick. So create some unusual angles with the branches, and because you've filled the teapot all the way to the top, the stems don't actually have to go all the way to the bottom. So just creating some nice irregular shapes, but still creating balance because one stem leans to the left while one leans to the right. The third and final stem, being this dried cherry blossom, we can place that in the centre. Next, to start building out the grid, we will use the salal. The grid is important because it allows for the softer and longer stemmed flower varieties to hold their position as you start to arrange later pieces. And you can have a couple of goes, or as many goes as you like, depending on how much time you have spare. And just keep arranging things until you feel they're in the right place. The beauty of floristry, especially with natural garden style arrangements like this one, there is no right or wrong, it's just about what your preference is. So next we'll add half of the Thlaspi stems. What we'll do is trim the offshoots away from the main stem. It will come to a point where the main stem has its own offshoots. Leave them as they are. What it means is that one will be longer than the other, in which case that's quite nice because that becomes a focal point in the centre of the vase. And we'll also make sure that the V of the stem sits close to the opening of the teapot. This just helps give that support to the flowers which it's there for. And we'll do the same with the other pieces. So strip away the leaves. Maybe trim away some of the stem to make sure it sits nicely close to the opening of the vase or the teapot. What you will find is it starts to create a natural burst effect, and that's exactly what we're going for. So once half of the Thlaspi has been added, keep the other half to one side. And then we start to add our flower stems. So first we'll take the lime coloured flowers. In this design they are the chrysanthemum, the rose and the eustoma. The eustoma is a very full stem. So what we'll do is give the weaker stems the benefit of the extra length, cutting away the stronger stem from the main piece. And we cut on an angle, because this allows the flower to take up as much water as possible. Taking away any leaves which will fall under the watermark again. And still that's a very full flower, that's a very full flower stem. And actually I think this will be nice as a space filler and also to start forming the display in the central area. So eustomas do like to sit in an upright position, which makes them perfect for positioning in the centre of your display. Their stems are very delicate, and that's one of the reasons why it's better to keep them in this area. So therefore, when it comes to your chrysanthemums and your rose, which are stronger stems, they're the pieces that can sit in an angular position to create that triangle, and going back to that magic number 3. So we'll position the chrysanthemum slightly lower than the rose, taking full advantage of the grid that we've created underneath. Again, the rose doesn't have to sit completely at the bottom of the teapot, as long as your teapot is always topped up with water. So then with the final piece of eustoma, as you can see, there are 2 pieces to this one stem. 3, 5 and 7 are all the magic numbers, so we'll then split this off to create an arrangement using the magic of 5. Next we're taking the Narcissus. This is absolutely beautiful. It actually reminds me of an egg. It's like the egg white with the yolk in the centre, because the colour inside is so intense. So next we'll take the 3 different pink flower stems, being the ranunculus and the garden rose. Again, working with the magic of 3. We'll make sure that they sit at varying positions to create a triangle and at varying heights. This rose is spectacular in full bloom, so I think making sure that's allowed to take centre stage does it justice. So not too much needs to come off this ranunculus, because to create this graduation from low to high, we'll make the most of the natural length of the stem. So just keep trying different angles and different positions in your grid until you find a place that you think is its happy home. And next I'll add this final ranunculus in the mirrored position to the Narcissus. So next we'll take the White Allium and we'll position this towards the back. Again, taking full advantage of the natural long length it comes with. Now, one thing to think about here is it's overlapping with the ranunculus, so maybe we'll just cut it slightly shorter in order to make sure that the ranunculus gets its own space and can be fully viewed and admired. Just took an inch off there, so let's see if this makes the difference. Again, just keep trying in different positions on your grid until you find a place where it's happy. Then we'll take the violet coloured flower stems, the hyacinth and the Canterbury bells. The hyacinth will come to you already pre-wired, but not taken away from the natural curve of the stem. We'll add this to the front of the display, showing it off to its full potential. As you do so, some of the other stems might move, but as we've already said, that's okay. Now I've positioned the hyacinth in opposition to the ranunculus, because the ranunculus already leans in the opposite direction, so again, it's just about that overall balance. And then to take the Canterbury bells, which are naturally very long as a stem again, we'll just position them right in the centre, allowing them to be shown off in all their glory. Then we'll take the final pieces of Thlaspi, adding those in around the front at the opening of this teapot to continue with that overall natural burst effect. You may need to trim down the length of the stem, so just do whatever suits. There we go. And just keep going until every piece is used. No need to waste anything. Maybe that one can go in the spout. Looks like it's pouring out its water. And then finally, just to take the pieces of jasmine, they naturally trail. So again, taking full advantage of their natural features, position them in the front, further adding to the natural burst effect. And what we might do is just trim one of the offshoots and put that in the spout. So did you see even a leaf came off there? Again, still no need to waste anything. Both of them can go in the spout now. And there's the leaf. That's why it's also important to make sure the water goes right up to the top of the teapot, so that there is water in the spout for any flowers you choose to put in there as well. And then just to take the final piece of jasmine, we'll thread that in on the opposite side, again creating balance. Give it a once over with a 360-degree inspection. I think that looks okay. And there you have it, the Easter Teapot letterbox flowers. I hope you enjoy.